Hey everybody, this is part 2 of creating a simple garden. So we have created our garden project. It is spec'd out to our liking. It's a 10 by 4 space with a couple of project filters applied. Now I want to get into how you can interact with the catalog and use that to browse for plants and add them to your garden. So in this sidebar, as you can see, we have just transitioned from the settings tab, which holds your project settings, all of the shapes in your garden, the garden beds, hardscaping, labels, background images. These are all of the like non-plant entities. You'll find them in the settings tab. But for adding plants or discovering plants or browsing for plants, that's going to be in this browse tab. So plant catalog, uh, you have two main ways of adding plants from the browse tab. You can search the main catalog. You can search your own custom plants that you've uploaded, or you can add plants from your saved lists. So lists is going to be covered in another video, but if you have created lists in the past and you've added plants to them, then you'll be able to click into these and add each of these to your garden the same way that you would from the main catalog. But right now we're focusing on the main plant catalog. So the first thing that you'll see here is just an input where you can search for plants. So if you have one that you want in particular, like New England aster, oh, I guess I have filters applied, and asters need a lot of sun. So just as a refresher, the filters that we have applied, we have part shade and full shade that are native to Massachusetts and are straight natives. And I think, yeah, we're with relatively moist soil. So we searched for New England aster. That didn't come up because asters need full sun. But if we were to search for instead, a fern, you get all of these ferns that meet all of those specs. So that is, the search input for just like a simple query. You can search the botanical name, the primary name, or any of its like alias names. It'll do its best to return something that matches what you would put there. The next part that I want to highlight is something that I breezed over just a second ago, which are these quick filters. So if I just want to drill down really quickly to like perennials, and I want to quickly select, some of the characteristics that are most important when determining a plant, your sun, your soil, and the rough height and width of them, and the native province. You can set all of these from these quick filters. But if you need more fine-tuned filtering, you can hit this advanced button, and then you'll have access to kind of like a lot more characteristics to filter by. So if I open features and benefits, I can say I want something that attracts hummingbirds, which is going to be difficult in shade, or I can say I want something that is, I want to know if it's invasive outside the native range. I want to know if it's, a specific type of growth behavior, or if it's drought tolerant, if it has berries. I want to know what color it is when it blooms. All of this is available from this tab. So if we were to say, I want something that's either semi-evergreen or evergreen to kick us off, let's do that. Now these are my options based on all of the other filters that I have. And you can see the results here. We have 11 total. If you have two views that you can toggle between when looking at these plants. You have the illustration view, which is kind of like the little more artistic representation of the plant, or you can toggle to photos. And so sometimes they don't have photos. You can click on them. You can click find images, and you can search yourself through Wikipedia Creative Commons to find an image that is a good representation of the plant. So marginal wood fern, I like this one. I'm going to save that. That's great. Yeah, these are just ways that you can interact with the catalog. Let's go back to illustrations. From here, if I find a plant that I'm interested in learning more about, I can click on it to bring up its details, which you saw me do earlier. So I have the full primary name here, its botanical or its scientific name. Any aliases that it goes by are going to be highlighted here in this also known as field. Whether or not it's a straight species is going to be highlighted by this flag here. So if it's some sort of a cultivar or a nativar, you won't see this flag. Find images, I already quickly ran through, but you can search Wikipedia Creative Commons for an image that will serve as its preview image when you toggle this design mode. And you can just see what the plant looks like as people have photographed it in the wild. You have this like little bloom indicator that shows you, the rough color that it has. It's going to be this yellow flower from April to June, depending on the part of the, depending on your region. You have the option to kind of like upvote or downvote it based on your experience with it, and also, offer some additional comments. So if you've grown this plant in the past and you just want to say, I loved this plant, or this plant took over my garden, this is where you can do that. Other things that are important, you get a little bit of information about this plant here. You get, some of the more basic details like height, width, growing conditions, any features that it has, and hardiness zones. So if you're set on this one and you are happy with this plant, you can add it to your garden in a couple of ways. So from the, the results page view, you can click on this add plant button and you'll enter stamp mode. We're going to enter stamp mode in a couple of ways. You can click and drag to activate stamp mode, or from the plant information panel, you can click add to garden. You can see there's a stamp, so that's going to help you enter stamp mode again. Stamp mode is pretty self-explanatory. What happens is your cursor turns into a scaled preview of the plant, and you can just kind of click to place, and there it is. So I can say I want this whole back border to be this Appalachian barren strawberry. Here we go. Awesome. Or if I know that I want to fill this one specific area, I can click and drag, and then it will fill the entire dragged area with these plants as well. But I don't like that, so I'm going to get rid of that. If you need to duplicate this plant or add more of this, you can always, Control C, Control V to copy and paste a plant. You can also duplicate, which is just, copy and paste again, or you can enter the stamp mode by place more of this plant. Then you're back in that stamp mode where your cursor is kind of the preview of the plant, showing you, where it'll be. So let's get rid of those. Other things to highlight about this catalog view, as you're browsing, if you like a plant and you want to save one for later, you can take one and you can save it to one of your lists on the fly, or you can create a new list all the way down there. And then from your list tab, like I mentioned before, you'll be able to click in and then kind of save plants or place plants that you've saved previously directly in your garden. So if you've been preparing a list of plants in preparation for a specific project, that's a way that you don't have to, go through the catalog again and again. You have, I have my Missouri pollinator plants for maybe like a Missouri garden that I'm designing. So yeah, I think those are probably the main things to comment on as far as the catalog. Custom plants, we can talk about too. So over here, you see the source is main catalog. If I have added custom plants, like I have a hobbyist or above subscription, and I have plants that don't necessarily make sense to add to the native plant catalog. Maybe it's a non-native like Japanese maple or something that's just in my yard that I just want to represent. Then I can go to my plants, and any plants that I have added from this panel, which we'll talk about a little bit later, will show up here, and I can, in the same way, just kind of add these the same way that I would any other plant from the catalog. So that's kind of the crash course in the catalog and how to use it, and what each of its little components means.